It's April 2018, and the Portland Trailblazers are facing off against the New Orleans Pelicans in the first round of the NBA playoffs. This is the series where Drew Holiday famously kept Damian Lillard in the torture chamber. Holiday played incredible defense on Lillard throughout this series, and Drew's defense helped the sixth-seeded Pelicans sweep the third-seeded Trailblazers in one of the most shocking upsets in recent history. Damian Lillard has been on record saying that that series was a pivotal moment in his career because of the defense that Drew and the Pelicans played on him. It forced him to add things to his game, which has made him a much better player. He also stated that Drew Holiday is the best perimeter defender in the NBA. Fast forward 5 years, and these two are linked together once again, this time as they're traded for one another in one of the most surprising trades in recent history. And following another trade where Drew Holiday was sent to the Celtics for Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon, these two now find themselves on rival teams in the Eastern Conference. Initially, when the Bucks got Dame, I thought it was a steal. I felt like they didn't give up much to get one of the best players in the NBA. It's not like they had to give up both Drew and Chris Middleton or both Drew and Brook Lopez. They just had to give up one key player that happens to play the same position as the player they acquired. And I looked at it as a direct swap. Drew Holiday for Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard is a better point guard. Dame Lillard is a better player. So I thought it was an upgrade. But when I look deeper into the roster and think about how the team is going to play, I have a few questions about Milwaukee. Offensively, they'll be fine. Offensively, they'll be scary. But it's on the defensive end where I have questions. At first, I thought, of course, they're losing Drew Holiday, one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. It's going to be a loss, but they still have Giannis, they still have Brook Lopez, two all NBA defenders. So they should be able to cover up for the lack of defense that they have on the perimeter, right? As great of defenders as those two are, they're primarily interior defenders. Drew Holiday was their perimeter defender, their point of attack defender, who used to guard opposing teams' best players on the perimeter. Guys like Jimmy Butler, Devin Booker, Trae Young. With Drew gone, who's going to take that responsibility now? Can we ask Giannis to play that role this season? I don't know how the new Bucks head coach Adrian Griffin is going to run things in Milwaukee this season, but previously under Coach Bud, the Bucks like to play Giannis off the ball as a roamer because he's best as a help defender. On top of that, he already has a heavy load on the offensive end. Do the Bucks want to add to that load by asking him to guard opposing teams' best players? And what if the opposing team's best player is a quick, shifty guard? Can Giannis even keep up with those type of players? Like a Ja Morant, like a Jalen Brunson, like a Donovan Mitchell. Those were players that Drew Holiday could guard, no questions asked, one-on-one on an island. What is going to be the Bucks' answer to that this season? That's what I'm going to be curious to see. And my last question for the Bucks, with Drew Holiday going to the Celtics now, did the Bucks unknowingly make their biggest competition even better than them? And will it come back to bite them in the butt? Moving on to the Celtics, I think adding Drew Holiday makes up for the loss of Marcus Smart. Obviously, Drew doesn't bring the same intangibles that Marcus brought, being the heart and soul of the team. But on the court, Drew's just as good of a defender as Marcus Smart, and I think he's even better on the offensive end. So I think that is an upgrade for the Celtics. Losing Time Lord, however, I feel is a significant loss for the Celtics team. Robert Williams was a big key to the Celtics defense. Having him and Al Horford, two bigs with different playing styles, one who's a rim runner and one who can shoot from the perimeter, gave the Celtics the flexibility in how they wanted to play. I think losing Robert Williams is going to hurt the Celtics. With Time Lord gone, the pressure is now going to shift to one of their newest acquisitions, Kristaps Porzingis. Can he defend at a high level while being expected to contribute on the offensive end consistently? Injury concerns are also a big question mark for Porzingis. Now, I know Robert Williams had his fair share of injury issues, but with Al Horford on his last legs, the Celtics are going to need Porzingis to stay healthy because there is not much center depth on this team. My biggest question for the Celtics is in regards to their depth. The Celtics gave up 4 rotation players for 2 rotation players. They gave up Marcus Smart, a defensive player of the year. They gave up Malcolm Brogdon, the sixth man of the year. They gave up Robert Williams and Grant Williams, 2 of their better defensive players. Last season, the Celtics were one of the deepest teams in the league, and this season, they'll have to heavily rely on their starting 5. I think this will potentially hurt them in the long run as they make a deep run into the playoffs. What does the Drew Holiday and Damian Lillard trade mean for other teams? It means the rest of the East is cooked. I'm kidding. Obviously, it means the Celtics and the Bucks should be the favorites to come out of the East, but honestly, I still think that was the case before these trades even happened. I think everyone's initial reaction is to expect that these two are going to be the last two teams standing in the Eastern Conference, but this is the NBA we're talking about. And in the NBA, there's always surprises that happen. After their failed attempt at trying to get Dame this offseason, I'm sure everyone has written off the Heat. But who's to say that they can't shock us again for a third time and storm through the Eastern Conference and make it to the NBA Finals? I'm not counting on it, but I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. Who knows? What if Evan Mobley and Darius Garland have huge leaps this offseason and the Cavaliers become the best team in the Eastern Conference? You never know. The NBA is full of surprises, but three things that are guaranteed in this life are death, taxes, and the Philadelphia 76ers getting bounced in the second round. I can confidently say that the 76ers won't be legit contenders this season. And I think the moves to get better by teams who are already better than the Sixers has Joel Embiid thinking about what's best for his career. And I think it's only a matter of time before Joel Embiid becomes the next disgruntled superstar to demand a trade request. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think Joel Embiid is going to find his way to the Bay to play alongside Steph Curry and the Warriors as they make a push for one last title. That's just a little prediction that I have. As far as where these trades put the Bucks and the Celtics in the overall landscape of the NBA, I'm not confident enough to say that these are the two best teams in the league. I think the Nuggets, the Suns, and the Lakers will all have something to say about where the Larry O'Brien trophy resides at the end of the year. All in all, I think these moves are great for the NBA. It's exciting, it shakes things up, and it incentivizes teams across the league to make moves so that they can keep up and get better as well. Overall, there's just a compounding effect that makes teams across the league better and better each year. At first, I wanted Dame to stay with Portland so that he could be one of those superstars that stays with one team for his entire career. I was hoping he could stick it out and maybe eventually he could get over the hump, kind of like Dirk Nowitzki did with the Dallas Mavericks. But after thinking about it for a few days, I think leaving was the best move for him because now I can see him winning multiple titles in Milwaukee and potentially maybe having a little run and maybe having a mini dynasty. I think there's a lesson here. As much as you want to stay loyal and stay committed, it's just as important to know when it's time to move on. And I think it was time for Dame and the Trailblazers to move on and go their separate ways. And now Dame is in the best position in his entire career to complete his ultimate goal of winning an NBA championship. So now you have all the tools at your disposal. No excuses. Go win your first NBA championship, Dame. Get it done. And that's a wrap on this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. It's been your boy Hawass, aka the B-Ball Files, signing off.